Hi, my name is Tanya Gentry. I am a sickle cell warrior. I live and I thrive with SC disease.
Great. All right, Tanya. So, what would you say is the hardest thing about having sickle cell?
The hardest thing for me, as far as having sickle cell, is not being believed. My pain not being believed, not getting the proper treatment when I seek the professionals when I'm in a crisis.
Great. And why do you feel like you're not believed? Sometimes you don't get the pain medications that you feel you deserve, or are there any issues with that?
Definitely. It's the pain medicine I'm not receiving when I get to the hospital. I've had a doctor tell me I don't look sick when I have an internal disease, so I'm not sure what I'm supposed to look like when I come in. Of course, I'm not going to be bleeding or anything like that. Everything's inside. It makes it really hard to deal with medical staff that does not have good bedside manner.
Wow.
You're already going through the worst pain of your life, and to have people not believe you or mistreat you when you're at your lowest point, it's like kicking a man when he's down.
Yes.
And it's devastating.
Yeah, that's really frustrating to hear, because me being a sickle cell warrior myself, I've experienced many times where I felt like doctors and nurses lacked empathy. That's really sad to hear. But what would you say to people who may be going through that experience, who don't feel like they get the attention they deserve? What would you say to them to help them with that process?
Just keep reiterating what's going on with you.
Yeah.
If you can, have a family member or a friend with you, someone that can advocate for you when you're in the bed. Because even though I am a sickle cell advocate, when I am the one suffering in the bed with a crisis, it's harder for me to advocate for myself. So to have someone with you and keep reiterating to the medical staff what you're going through and what your life's been like, so you can pull at their heartstrings.
Great, that's great. So yeah, I'm in San Diego, and this is the first time I'm here, and the weather is really beautiful. You look great, Tanya.
Thank you.
And there was something and as we were talking, you mentioned that you were previously the president of the Sickle Cell Disease Association San Diego chapter, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and so what was your role? What did you do for the sickle cell community, and how were you able to help the community progress forward?
Well, what we did here in San Diego, we got our database built with all our sickle cell families. We kept in contact with them. We let them know it doesn't matter what time of day, because sickle cell does not have a clock, and it seems like it acts up wee hours of the morning. That if they need help with advocating for themselves, to give us a call, and we will show up at the hospital, advocate for the patient, document what's going on to make things move along a little faster. We also had a campaign of know what's in your body. Wow. You know, a lot of our parents did not know they carried the sickle cell gene before having a child with sickle cell disease. So if you know what's in your body before having children, you can make a conscious decision on what you want to do. And know the life your child would live if they have sickle cell.
Wow, that's a very powerful point, because I've met other people with sickle cell where their parents were not planning for this. They had no idea that they both had the trait. So I definitely think if we can spread more awareness of this, it can definitely prevent some of this sickle cell from reoccurring. That's great to know. So Tanya, tell us about yourself. What do you like to do for a living other than advocating for sickle cell?
Well, after being the president of the Sickle Cell Association here in San Diego, I suffered some depression, especially working with the kids at Children's Hospital and dealing with some deaths of our warriors. So I began to do photography, and it was a total different side of life. So instead of dealing with hardship, when you do photography, everyone's dressed up, smelling good, all smiles. So it was just able to center me again. I did that for about a year, and then I knew, sickle cell is my life.
Yes.
So I needed to get back to the sickle cell community, and what I decided to do was write a children's book.
Oh.
So I don't only reach the children here in San Diego in my community, I can reach children around the world.
Oh.
And one of my biggest accolades is my book making it to Africa. Being able to touch warriors around the world, get feedback from warriors around the world on how my book influenced them has been really great.
That is so inspiring. Do you have the book with you just so people might see it?
Yes, sir, I do.
Wow. And so the name of the book is called Pee-wee Goes to School, right?
Yes.
Wow.
And Pee-wee is a sickle cell warrior that goes to a new school after his dad, which is in the military, gets transferred to a new duty station.
Wow.
And so his mom takes him to school to explain to his teacher what it will take for Pee-wee to have a productive day, and that he needs water throughout his day, stay hydrated, and he may need a couple of extra bathroom trips due to him staying hydrated. And a classmate overhears his mom talking to the teacher, and he suffers some bullying on the playground from fellow classmates.
Okay.
And so once being reassured and by his family, he goes back to school and things totally change for him.
Great.
He sees a lot of friendly faces and he makes new friends.
Great. Yeah, and so you mentioned a very interesting aspect about sickle cell, where you mentioned photography, and you said how it was therapeutic for you, which is really interesting because I've started doing this YouTube thing recently, and I've been taking a lot of pictures and camera footage, and it's been pretty therapeutic for me. So I pretty much want to ask you, how do you deal with depression? Because I feel like that's a very common issue with people with sickle cell. What are some things you do to help yourself with your mental health?
What I do is stay a part of something bigger than myself. And that drives me to get up and keep moving. If I have people depending on me, I stay a part of the sickle cell support groups. I stay a part of sickle cell associations, Cayenne Wellness, and we do different projects with Cayenne. I do a lot of praying.
That's good.
Praying helps to lift you. I also do music therapy.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
And music, even if I'm a little bit down by the third song of uplifting music, and my favorite to uplift me is Mary Mary. That get up and get moving, and you're enough, you're strong. Really helps me get out of a funk.
That's great. I love music. I could talk about music all day, but music also plays a great role in helping me deal with my mental health with sickle cell. So anyways, I was gonna say, so yeah, I'm really glad we met. And I wanted to ask you, what if you had to give inspiring advice for people with sickle cell, what would it be? Because there's a lot of people with sickle cell who are suffering and they have no hope. They don't want to keep moving forward because the pain is debilitating, and they feel like nobody understands them because they don't know other people who they can talk to about it, because it can get really lonely. So what's some piece of advice that you would give to a sickle cell warrior?
Reach out to another warrior. What we have today, we didn't have back when I was growing up, which is social media. You could type in sickle cell, you can be a part of the different sickle cell support groups online, and when you're in the hospital, you can get support from other sickle cell warriors, which makes all the difference in the world, because someone that's without sickle cell, they can feel for you. They can empathize with you, but they do not know what you're going through. So to reach other warriors that know what you're going through makes all the difference in the world.
Tanya brought up a very interesting point about social media. Yeah, I'm actually from Boston, and I recently moved to Philadelphia, and Tanya is all the way from San Diego, but I was able to connect with her through Facebook, like she said. And if it wasn't through Facebook, I don't know if we would be meeting here today. So what she said is a very, I think, a very valid point. Is a great way of meeting other people with sickle cell. Well, anyways, Tanya, is there any last words you would like to say, or anything else you would like to show to people about sickle cell?
I would like to tell the warriors, keep moving, keep thriving, find your passion. You know, find something that you're passionate about and go with your passion. Being blessed isn't about monetary gain.
Yes.
Being blessed is about knowing your passion and being able to give to other people something that you didn't have, and that's what I was able to do. When I was 7 years old, they told me I would never see 21.
Aww.
You know, back in the day, they used to give you life expectancy. They didn't expect sickle cell patients
Yes.
to grow up, which they said was the reason for treatment for adults being so less than other diseases. They never expected us to grow up.
Yeah.
So know what you hold inside. Find your passion. Find a support group. Find a sickle cell buddy that you can depend on, and live your life to the fullest.
Thank you, Tanya. That was beautiful advice, and thank you so much for taking the time to see me and sharing your story. I think it was much needed. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.